stop scrolling, because the scroll of your life is being unsealed. Right now. This is not a message for the masses. This is a divine summons for the 1%, the ones who've carried spiritual weight in silence, the ones who've been broken not to be discarded, but to be entrusted. You've been asking if you were buried or planted, if you were overlooked or preserved, if your delay was punishment or preparation. And now, the Spirit of the Lord answers, you were hidden, because the wealth you're called to carry could not be released until the world was ready, and you were ready to carry it with clean hands and a burning mantle. There is a sound in the heavens tonight, not thunder, not warfare, but the opening of a vault, etched with your name, sealed in fire and waited on by angels. Not everyone will hear it, but the ones marked will feel it, like a trembling in the spirit, like a whisper calling your name from eternity. This is echoes of the chosen, and what you're hearing now is not content, it is confirmation. The Lord will command the blessing on you, in all that you undertake. Not suggest, not offer, command. And that command has gone out tonight, to awaken the remnant who've been faithful when no one was watching. To signal the 1% who were not just praying for breakthrough, but being forged to become the breakthrough. If something deep inside you is stirring, don't look away, don't click off, because by the end of this message you will understand why your entire life has felt like a test, why you've been surrounded by delay, and why, tonight, it's your turn, and the billions were never the goal. They were the mantle. Stay until the final word, because your scroll is opening, and your assignment begins now. The seal of the 1%. There are names not written in ink, but in fire. Not on paper, but in eternity. Yours is one of them. You weren't chosen because you were the loudest, the strongest, or the most prepared. You were chosen because in the hidden places, where no applause echoed and no spotlight reached, you kept trusting. Being chosen doesn't mean you were celebrated. It means you were marked. And that mark drew fire, not because you failed, but because you were seen as a threat by hell itself. Prophetic tension surrounds those who carry divine vaults inside them. Joseph had the dream, but the dream made him a target. David was anointed in front of his brothers, and then sent back to fields that smelled of sheep. Their elevation wasn't instant. It was encrypted, and so was yours. You weren't delayed. You were disguised. The world saw nothing special, but the heavens whispered, that one. And now the seal on your scroll begins to crack. Can you feel it? That holy tremble in the spirit, like something ancient waking up in your blood. This is what it feels like when the 1% begin to remember who they are, and who they were always meant to become. The silence was sacred. The silence wasn't absence, it was divine surveillance. When the heavens go quiet, the heart is revealed. When no prophecy confirms you, no door opens, and no one calls your name, that's when the true chosen are separated from the crowd. God never hides those he has no plans for. He hides the dangerous ones, the weight-bearers, the ones with scrolls so volatile, they must be forged in quiet before they speak in public. Moses spent 40 years in obscurity for a 40-day confrontation with Pharaoh. Jesus spent 30 years in silence before 3 years shook eternity. The delay didn't mean God forgot. It meant the foundation was still being poured. You weren't invisible. You were insulated, because what you carry can't be rushed. And now the vault is humming. The angel with your assignment is already descending. You didn't miss it. It's been waiting for you to become the one who could survive the silence and still believe. The furnace built you. There's a kind of wealth that doesn't fit in banks. It's forged in betrayal, sealed in fire, and crowned with scars. You've lost things that never came back. People who walked away without explanation. Doors that closed right when you were sure God was about to open them. That wasn't misfortune. It was blacksmith theology. God doesn't anoint with ease. he anoints with heat. And only those who survive the fire are trusted with the treasury. Think of Job. Wealth stripped, family shattered, body broken. Yet his cry was not, "Why me?" It was, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust him." And for that trust, he was given double. You weren't punished. You were prepared. Every night you cried was God hammering your armor. Every moment you felt abandoned was heaven forging your endurance. This is why the fire didn't kill you. It was only ever meant to temper the sword. The vault only opens for those who won't lose themselves in the overflow. And God had to make sure you were unshakable. The cost of disobedience. Not every scroll is fulfilled. Some rot in silence because the vessel never responded. There are chosen ones who confuse delay with denial, who grow bitter in the waiting, and bury their calling beneath comfort. This is not a small thing. Heaven doesn't shrug when a scroll goes unopened. It mourns. Saul was called, but his fear of people cost him his crown. The throne didn't vanish, it shifted to David. God's will won't fail, but your place in it can. This wealth isn't a trophy, it's an assignment. And assignments come with terms: faith, obedience, movement. If you don't steward what's stirring now, you risk becoming one of the many who almost stepped in. The enemy's greatest weapon isn't destruction, it's delay disguised as logic. Do not pause where God says go. The vault is motion activated. And now, heaven watches. Will you step forward, or hesitate until it passes to another? Your authority has been upgraded. You've prayed like a servant, but God is now calling you to govern like a son. This wealth is not just provision, it's permission to reign, to release, to reframe entire systems. David was anointed with oil, but it wasn't just for kingship, it was for conquest. His authority wasn't a title, it was a spiritual weapon. Luke 10:19 says, "I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions." Not beg them, not run from them. Trample. You are no longer pleading for what's already in your hand. This vault isn't being handed to you because of your prayers alone. It's opening because your identity has shifted. You are no longer asking as one in need, you are receiving as one in alignment. And when authority aligns with obedience, heaven doesn't delay. It delivers. The scroll has been unsealed. There's something dangerous about a chosen one who finally says yes. That's when the scroll begins to glow. This isn't about money, it's about movement. You've been called to construct what doesn't yet exist, to fund blueprints, seed legacies, disrupt systems, and build altars in places of former ruins. Deuteronomy 28:12 isn't poetry. It's prophecy. You shall lend to many nations and not borrow. This assignment is not a suggestion. It's a heavenly dispatch. And it doesn't wait forever. What you build will echo into eternity, but only if you start. The scroll has been loosed. What was sealed yesterday is now demanding your yes. What will you do with what you carry? The vault isn't the miracle. You are. The rise of the billion-carrying remnant. Look around. Something is stirring in the spirit across the earth. They're rising. Quietly, boldly, prophetically. Men and women who've walked through fire and refused to lose their voice. They are not loud, but they are lethal in the spirit. Not flashy, but their oil is ancient. You're one of them. You felt alone because the others were hidden too. But the silence is ending. The 1% are finding each other. Scroll recognizes scroll. This is not about being special. It's about being responsible. You weren't just chosen to carry wealth. You were chosen to release something that could only be born through obedience. And now, the remnant rises like embers becoming wildfire. You are not alone. You are surrounded. And the sound you hear? It's the army waking up. Echoes across eternity. This is not your story alone. This is a chapter in a scroll much older than you. Abraham didn't see the stars. He became the spark. Esther didn't just save her people, she ignited a lineage. Paul didn't just write letters, he launched echoes that still shake nations. And now, it's your turn. Your billions are not for consumption, they are for combustion. To light dreams, lift nations, break cycles, and fund revival. You're not a reservoir, you're a river. What you release will outlive you, and what you build will become someone else's inheritance. This is not a rise, it's a release, and the echo will carry until heaven says, "Well done." There is one final truth you must carry from this sacred encounter. You were not waiting for the promise. The promise was waiting for the version of you that could carry it without crumbling. This wasn't a delay. It was divine architecture, a hidden unfolding, a slow unveiling of a warrior cloaked in silence. And now, the silence breaks. The vault opens. The scroll seals. You are no longer the version of you that doubted. You are the version God trusted with the weight of nations. Chosen one, you have been sifted. You have been strengthened. You have been summoned. And now, you are being sent. Let this moment mark you. Let it awaken what has long slept beneath your skin. Let it confirm what your soul always knew, but your mind struggled to believe. You were born for this. Not for noise, but for impact. Not for survival, but for stewardship of glory. If this word was confirmation, comment 777 below, not just as a number, but as a signal to the heavens that your scroll has been opened. Share what stirred your spirit, the phrase, the revelation, the sentence that felt like it was written only for you. And if you know you are part of this rising remnant, subscribe to Echoes of the Chosen and stay connected to this movement that heaven is gathering. You are not a viewer, you are a vessel. You are not alone. You are the next echo.